The game has been out for a few months now, and as a new player, we look forward to exploring a starting guide for Ultimate Team to make sure that we get the most value towards the upcoming months and moving towards the closing end of the game's life cycle. With new player introductions and promotions, teams will be subjectively changing depending on who we are able to get and what the game gives us access to without also forgetting SBCs along the way. For those fairly new to the game, like myself, you may or not know of a helpful website that covers almost all aspects of the game called Footbin. You can also use Footwiz, but I have already made an account on Footbin and didn't want to re-register or switch websites. But having briefly looked at both, they do share a lot of the similarities and important tools and information we need to take our game to the next level. My number one suggestion when using Footwiz is to firstly head over and create an account. Just up here, you can create an account. I'm not going to log in or create an account on this video because I use NordPass and it's going to leak all the information I've got saved. Creating an account allows us to keep track of current ongoing SBCs and also filtering from what other players have completed that are of the best value. I do not advise, unless you're putting money into the game or able to luck out and generate a lot of coins, to be going crazy on the rewarding SBCs that cost a lot of coins, but each to their own. You can find the SBCs just in this top toggle here, and best value SBCs would be basically what the community have already done, what would be the most value for you, how much you're going to be spending, the solutions, and basically what you'll be getting in terms of your rewards. Before we do head over to Squad Builder, I just want to stress the importance of playstyles this year. There is a playstyles tab. If you basically just hover over players all the way down, you're going to see players playstyles. Click into that. It's going to give you the brief summary, the rundown, absolutely everything you need to know about what playstyles you want in different positions, from scoring to passing, ball control, defending. It basically covers everything: physical, trickster, and whatnot. Watch an informative video. I'm not going to play it because it's someone else's video, but take advantage of playstyles and keep in mind the more playstyles you've got in that position, the better it will be for your overall gameplay and the more easier you're going to find to do certain aspects of the game. Head over and create a new team with the squad builder appropriate to the game that is released. FC24 would be our game of choice currently, so let's head over there and start to build a team. Our starter squad, but I would also ideally suggest building something that's future-proof with players that can be usable throughout all game modes, covering foot champions, squad challenges, and of course division rivals. If you do lack creativity or general game knowledge on who is good in the game and who not only looks good on paper, then I'd highly suggest checking out some community squad build that other players have already built for you. Community squad builds range from almost all ranges of how much coins you currently have and what the pros will be using at endgame with higher budgets. When building a new squad, I would suggest always starting off with players that can improve and have multiple cards throughout the game, and as the game upgrades for you to save towards and hopefully eventually get one day. The general player that you will want in a lot of your team starting off that have multiple cards and upgrades catering to majority of budgets would first be a centre back position, which a lot of people are using Virgil van Dijk. So if you look at Virgil van Dijk, he's got 3 different cards. The first and the second card are pretty close together in terms of the budget. We'll select the first one, and the good thing with Virgil is he's playstyle plus aerial. He's got power headers, long ball pass, jockeying, block, anticipate, and bruiser. Our second card will be Antoine Griezmann. 4 separate cards to choose from, with the base being at about 25,000 coins. You cannot go wrong with Antoine Griezmann. Finesse shot, chip shot, incisive pass, technical, flair, trivela, acrobatic. We've seen how powerful finesse shots as well as trivelas are. This guy is absolutely amazing. Moving along, our third option, it's going to have to be Rodrigo. Rodrigo's base card used to sell, I think, for almost 90,000 coins, 8,000 coins. I know it does say his base card is a right winger, but eventually you're obviously going to move on to the 2 striking informs that he's got. So Rodrigo up the top, dead ball, technical, and flair. Not that many play styles, but definitely a worthwhile and cheap card that you can progressively upgrade along the way. Now, heading over to our right wing, the main reason why we made Rodrigo a striker, not a right winger, is because of Mohamed Salah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different cards. I know the base card is a bit expensive, but he can be interchangeable by other players. But the reasoning for Salah: playstyle plus, finesse shot, chip shot, rapid, and trivela. Now, if you want to build up to Salah, you could start off with Llorente. Llorente is pretty viable, plus he's very, very cheap. Now, as you go along, you can also go down the path of Kubo. Kubo's got multiple cards, 400, 15, and 98. Very, very affordable and cheap. And then if you want, you've also got the option of Diani, who I believe the price might have dropped. Yeah, the price has definitely dropped. So back to what we were on, which was Mohamed Salah. We'll select him for our right wing. Just the base, and that's the position I put him in. Moving on to our left midfield or our left wing, my player suggestion would be arguably probably one of the best players in this year's game. Heung-min Son, 4 different cards, 19,000 for the base, and obviously the other 3 cards, sorry, they do jump quite exponentially. But Heung-min Son, playstyle plus, finesse shot, absolute finesse merchant between Salah, between Griezmann, and between Son. You've also got his playstyle rapid as well as quick step. For our first center mid, who's absolutely having a blinder of a year and a spell in La Liga, Jude Bellingham. He's going to be doing a partnership with our second midfielder, which we'll see just in the next second. But 4 different cards, 14,000 for the base card. Playstyle plus, relentless, intercept, slide tackle, technical, and flair. So Jude Bellingham for our first center mid. Now, to complement as well as keep Bellingham company, he's going to be our boy, Federico Valverde. Quite expensive. I understand he's keeping his value, but 3 separate cards. All 3 cards are absolutely insane. Now, Valverde. Playstyle, power shot, long ball pass, rapid, relentless, and again, Trivela. Alternative options, if in case the coins just aren't there for Valverde, he is quite powerful in terms of the coins. You can switch to Frankie de Jong. Frankie de Jong, base card, 19,000. Great card. You can switch to Madison. Now, Madison, I believe, had a SBC in-game, which is the second card. And then the last card we were given upon completing missions in the game. So very easy card to get, plus great card. One of my personal favorites would be Luka Modric. Road to the Knockouts or the Road to the Champions League knockout card. Absolutely cracked. Look gorgeous too. Or you've got another card, which is absolutely beautiful. Frankie De Bruyne. He's kept his value, almost 60,000 coins, but great player. Great player. They are your alternatives if in case you just can't afford. Let's choose Valverde for now. Now, in right back, we've got multiple options depending on who you prefer or depending on how many coins you want to spend. Cancelo, 4 different cards. Great player, great cards, all big improvements, and they're very, very cheap. In relativity, they're very, very, very cheap. So, Cancelo, playstyle, whipped pass, block, technical, flair, first touch, and Trivela. If you don't want to use Cancelo and you prefer either Llorente, you can go Llorente. I believe Llorente had his Centurions upgrade as well. Yeah, Llorente. If you don't want to go Llorente, you can also Trent Alexander-Arnold. I personally love Trent. I think he's going to get a lot of more upgrades in terms of how he's actually playing this year with Liverpool. But yeah, that's another option for you. But for now, we will stick with Cancelo. Now, looking over at total chemistry for the team, we are quite lacking. So we're going to start using some players that are actually going to boost that total team chemistry, as well as players that are still half decent. So in keeper or in goals, we've got Alisson. So Alisson, far throw, cross claimer, as well as rush out. Watched him play with multiple pros, as well as tournaments. He's absolutely amazing. Any swap overs or anything, if you can't afford the 38,000, well, you can go, I believe it's Pope. Pope is extremely tall. Very, very good to get with balls, come out for crosses, things like that. Very tall player. Very, very cheap. You can also go for, what's his name? You can go for Onana. If you're a Manchester United supporter and you're still wondering why they sold De Gea and we got Onana, I've got no idea, man, but you can go for him for the memes. Or you can also go my absolute turtle favorite memer, and that would be Martinez. But for now, we'll go just with Alisson. Heading over to our center back position, accompanying Alisson, it's going to be Araujo. Now, Araujo, sorry.
Brain just went completely dead for a minute.
Araujo, 15,000 coins, 3 separate upgrades. Playstyle plus, block, power header, jockey, anticipate, slide tackle, as well as acrobatics. Now, I personally prefer to go Militao. I just personally like Militao. Only problem is with Militao, he's only got 1 card. That's the only reason I would really go for Araujo over Militao. Now, finally, our left back position, and to complete the team, we're going to have to go with Mendy. Although only 2 cards in the game, and it's a huge jump between the cards. Very, very quick, very, very strong. In terms of his play styles, he's got block, rapid, and flair. You can, if you want, go Davies. The only problem is with Davies, he's got 1 extremely cheap card, and then he's got 1 card that just dramatically jumps up to almost 1 million coins. Whether that's worth it or not, completely up to you. But let's pick Mendy, and we'll finish off this team. So we're just shy of 1 million coins. Basically, what I think would be a starter, as well as something that you can develop along the way in terms of your squad. Let me show you some alternatives that you can obviously cater towards having lower coins, higher coins, mid coins, and then end game. So let's start with just some alternatives to this team that can save you some coins as you work up to these players. So literally half the price of what we were spending before. This would be the alternative version of that same team. We bought in Ansu Fati. I think he replaced Griezmann. We bought in De Jong. I think he replaced Valverde. We bought in Llorente to replace Salah Salah, you've got Eder Militao that replaced Virgil van Dijk, and you've got Lloris that replaced... What the hell is going on here? So that actual team that we had before that was just shy of 1 million. It can get extremely expensive as well. But this, to me, as a starting player, this is kind of what I would like to know, having started the game. So not go back and forth through community builds. So not go back through this player is good, that player is good, that player is good. Build your team, how you guys want your team from the start of the game. And then just develop those players in terms of the progression of their cards that come out to replace that card. Unless you get some crazy pulls along the way with Mbappe, your Neymars, your Vinny Juniors, other crazy players like your Haalands, your you get what I mean. Try to build your foundation from the start and just slowly and progressively work on improving these players. We've seen in this video, all these players do shine in their positions from their base form, obviously to their mid, to their end. But this is a way that you can save a lot of times, a lot of coins, and a lot of headache along the way to not make mistakes from the start and just progressively improve. Even with this team, even if I was to play with this team every single game, I'd still suck. I'm still new to the game. Your team doesn't really mean a lot, but at least you've got an end goal to work towards and it doesn't burn you out. If you know you're still losing with these players, that's a skill and player issue. You need to start focusing on other areas of your game instead of who you're controlling and who you're playing with.